about Google assignments in Canvas and take a look at what those look like. We have had Google assignments in the past, but the new LTI gives us a little bit more options here within Canvas. We're going to talk about how you link your Google account to your assignments. We're going to create assignments. We're going to add Google Drive content to the module or pages, and then learn a little bit about grading an LTI assignment this morning. Let's go back one. How to link your Google account. So if you have not used Google in the past with your courses, then it will ask you to allow access to your course. And we'll walk through that here in a moment. But this slide, we will share the presentation or the video later. And so you'll have access to the screen to help walk you through. But I am going to walk through that process this morning. And then we're going to create an assignment. So this slide tells us a little bit about that creation, but I am going to pop over to my Canvas instant and show you how to do that. All right, so inside of Canvas, many of you probably noticed either yesterday afternoon or this morning that Canvas courses for the fall are available. So those should be in your unpublished course area, which is kind of towards the bottom if you have things turned on your dashboard. So this morning I am going to create a new course. A lot of times we call these sandbox courses. These are courses that you can play in. You can keep your information if you want to import from year to year in a sandbox. And that's just a course that I'm going to create because I don't have students scheduled with me. So we're going to go to start a new course here on the right hand side. Again, you don't have to do this part. You can work in your own sandbox or you can work in your new courses. And then I just click on create course. And we have that new blank Canvas course that's ready for me to do whatever I need to in here. So there's many different ways to link your Google account. If you've never linked it, you can go to Google Drive, which is on the left-hand side. You can also link it from the assignment that we're going to create. So if I click on assignments, and I'm going to click on plus assignment at the top. And I'm going to begin to fill in my assignment here with the assignment name. And you can give students directions here on what you want them to do in the assignment. And as we travel down that screen, we have the points option. So it's very important when we create these Google assignments via the LTI that we create a point value here. And then when we actually link that to the assignment that we're going to create via Google, those points need to match. You can come back in and update it, but it's really something to think about as you're creating that you really want those points to match. So I'm going to make this assignment 10 points. And I'm going to leave the assignment group and grading as it is, but the submission type is what we're looking for. So if we go to submission type and we click the drop down box, we're going to go to external tool. And this will give us an area to find the tool that we want to use. So when we click on find, we're going to scroll down and we're going to look for Google Assignments LTI 1.3. Previously, we would have used Google Docs Cloud Assignment, and that will eventually be going away. So you'll see more information on dates for that. But today we're looking for Google Assignments LTI 1.3. And this is where it is going to go ahead and request access to my Google account. So we'll see that it is pulling that information in there. If you've never done that, it might ask you to allow access here. I'm going to click on link. And we'll see that it is wanting to know if I in fact want to link to my TSC account. So I'll again click link. All right, so this is the screen we were looking for. And middle school and high school teachers don't use Google Classroom, but elementary teachers do. And from our perspective, this looks like a lot like Google Classroom. So we get create a Google assignment. We'll notice that there's check plagiarism, originality. For these type of assignments, we have a limited number of assignments that you can check for originality due to our licensing. So our suggestion is that you do not use the originality report. And if you are creating an assignment that you want to be checked for plagiarism, that you would create that directly in Canvas and not use the LTI. Because Turnitin can be used directly via regular assignment in Canvas. And for now, that's what we would encourage that continued use. But we will notice as we travel down, we can make a copy of the attached files for each student to edit and then submit. So if we click on attach, then we will see our recent files. And we can search. We can navigate to my drive. You could upload all those kind of options, but I am going to search for my biography slide presentation. And we'll notice it attaches it. It tells me what it's going to do. It's going to give each student a copy of that slide presentation. As I move down this screen, this is where those total points that we talked about when we were creating the original assignment, these need to match. So I made my assignment worth 10 points. So we're going to change the total points to 10 points here. And then you can select your due date. And I'm going to make mine due Friday at 11:59 p.m. and say done here. And we can also attach rubrics here. And we'll talk a little bit more about rubrics towards the end of the presentation. So I'm going to say create. Oh, and I didn't like that, did it? Sorry about that. So it does take us back to the configure external tool. And so it was just saving that assignment and from the Google side. And so this is the screen that it technically brought me back to, even though it dropped you guys off. So we're going to click on select here. And you do have the option to load this tool in a new tab. Sometimes that's just easier to navigate if you want to do that. And as we scroll down, we'll continue to fill out our Canvas assignment screen like we normally do. If you want it to sync to PowerSchool, then you can select that. You can assign to everyone, or you can assign to specific students if you needed to do that. In this case, we're going to assign to everyone. I'm going to again select my due date, and I would encourage that you do it as the same as you created for the Google assignment part. And I'm just going to say we're going to make it available today through July 30th. And I'm going to say save and publish. So when you come into this assignment now, this is the screen that you are going to see. And we'll see that it gives us the total points, that 10-point value when it's due, and the file that's attached. We can view that, and that there's no rubric currently. We'll also notice that there's nothing submitted yet or nothing returned, and it even states such. All right, so now we've created this assignment, and I think, let's see. What I'm going to do next is going to show you how to add the LTI to your modules, and also how to add the LTI to a page. And then once we've done that, we'll come back and we'll revisit this assignment, and I will show you how to grade that and a little bit about what that looks like. So we're going to move from assignments to modules. As a team, we really like the module structure. We think it makes sense for students, and it kind of outlines and tells them where they need to go and what they need to be working on. So if we click on plus module and we name our module, it could be any number of things that you want. You can do modules that are week-based, anything like that that provides a structure for the students. We're going to click on add module. And to my getting started module, now I'm ready to add information to that. So if I click on the plus sign here to the right of my getting started module, it will allow me to bring things in. I've created an assignment. I could bring that assignment in that I just created. In this instance, we're going to go down here to external tool. And we'll get that familiar screen that we saw when we created the assignment. It's going to allow you to pick any external tool that's available to you. And in the past, we would have done Google Drive. In this instance, we're going to do Google Drive LTI 1.3. And you'll notice that it wants to verify, I'm using this account, and you could switch accounts, but hopefully everyone is using just their TSC email address for that. And we're going to say select file. And in this, we're going to see where we can add recent, something from my drive. You can upload anything, and from your shared drives. And this morning, we're going to link to Google Assignments in Canvas. And we're going to say attach. And it's quite possible when it does this transition that it's going to drop, and I will get us connected back here again. So I'm going to click on attach. Ooh, we did better that time, it looks like. All right. And now I'm ready to click on add item. We'll notice that it did fill in this information for me before I add item. So it's giving us the URL it's going to, the page name, whether we want to load it in a new tab. And as you create your modules, if you prefer a certain style as far as indentation goes, then you could indent certain levels. So this is the first thing I'm adding to my module, so I'm not going to indent it. I'm going to say add item. And then we'll want to be sure to publish that when we're ready. But we'll see that and publish the module. We'll see that we now have a linked assignment in our module. And still not seeing any questions, so I'm going to keep going here. And so the next idea would be for the Google LTI in Pages. So I'm going to visit Pages. And it tells us that we don't have one, so we're ready to add one. So if I click on the plus page and we say welcome, we'll notice that we have the little Google Drive icon here, and that is our Google Drive LTI 1.3. So if I click on that, it's going to give us that screen, and it wants to make sure we want to post course materials from my Google Drive. I'm going to select the file. Say, I'm going to just search for one that I have here. I'm going to say attach. And it dropped you. I see what I did there. So let's see if we can get you going again. That's my fault. So I will notice that it puts my slide presentation inside my page. And then we have, we can go ahead and say save and publish. And then that is pulling that page in. What's nice about doing a Google slide like that is that now that that is in there, like Sarah's mentioning, you can use that as your home page, and then you can just modify this slide presentation, you know, throughout each day or each week for your course. It's an easy way to make that page look nice. In order to make that your home page, you can click on the three dots in the upper right hand corner and say use as front page. All right, let's see. If I go back to the presentation real quick, Sarah did much of this in a YouTube video for you guys. So that's going to be contained, and you can go back and you can watch this video once you have access to the presentation. And then now we're going to go back to grading an LTI assignment, where we're going to talk about accessing the student submissions, grading those, and then returning those submissions. And in this, you'll also have more information here, and that is just going to be a document that outlines those items for you to take a look at. So let's see. So essentially, if we go back to Canvas, we go to our assignments. We're going to come back into my biography assignment. And as students start to submit assignments, then you will see their names listed. You will see that they have turned it in, and you'll be able to access that. So what that means is when a student submits an assignment, they can technically unsubmit that assignment until the due date arrives. Once the due date arrives, you can no longer they can no longer unsubmit or resubmit the items. Once that due date arrives, that assignment that has been turned in becomes the teacher's. The teacher will have control of that, so the student can't make changes. When the teacher grades that and returns the assignment, that is when you are going to give that permission back to the student. So it could be something that they're going to, you know, edit and make changes to, but they're not going to have the ability to do that until you return that assignment. And when you are grading, it's kind of hard for me to show you exactly what you're going to see when you grade because of a couple of limitations that we have within Google. One being that we can't like act as a student to see that, to like submit and see those. Even in the student view, it doesn't really let you act as a student for Google. So that does prohibit me from really showing you the turned in option. But the document that is provided in the slideshow will give you kind of a breakdown of how that's all going to work. But essentially it would be in here. You can click on turned in and see the student's assignment, and you would be able to grade that, and you're actually able to do comments. And so you can leave feedback on the assignments, and that is also going to be defined in that more information. But you can add comments, you can save comments, so you have a comment bank. You can use the hashtag and start typing, and it will bring in those comments that relate to, it's kind of like a search for those comments. Right. Let's see. This is the more information screen here. And like I said, it's just going to outline those student submissions, when they can turn it in, when they can resubmit, and then also outlines how you access those assignments, how you grade them and return them. Right. And then we'll talk a little bit about the rubrics. So if we go back and we want to edit this assignment, I think it will let me. Let's see. I was hoping it was going to let me go and add that rubric. Oh, here. Nope. So I clicked on that, and that's giving me a guide from Google. So it's telling us, you know, it's walking me through that. But I can go here to no rubric and click on the plus sign. And I can create a new rubric, or I can reuse a rubric or import from sheets. And so if I click on create rubric, then we have the ability to turn off the use scoring. If you wanted to toggle that off, you can leave it on, and you can sort by ascending or descending, and you can add your criterion for your rubric. You can add a description if you want to, and then we can add a point value. And you can leave a description for those point values, and then you can add your other tiers of points here for grammar for that criterion. I think we can. I'm not very good at knowing what these should be, but let's just say not mastered again, and let's just say, let's do this. There we go, that's a little better. So we can add those point values there, and then we can add another criterion. And this one might be for content. And then you would add your point values here. And those different requirements. And you could keep moving by adding different criterion. And then you would save that rubric. And now it has given us the rubric, the 2 criteria, and it's worth 10 points. So then that will be one that you can reuse. And you can, create different rubrics and use those based on each of those assignments. On the rubric screen that's provided in the presentation, there is a link to create or reuse a rubric, and those are directions provided by Google that walks you through, what I just showed you today. All right, let's see. Does anybody have any questions for me? How many of you have used the Google Doc Cloud Assign in the past? Have any of you used that, or will this feature be somewhat new to you? Okay, very good. All right. This is something, like I said, we've been using it for a while, but we do feel like this is an improvement to the LTI area, and it seems to work well and should be pretty straightforward. I've used the cloud. Very good. Hopefully this creation is a little bit better and a little more solid in it working.